Hi and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. If you're looking at me and you know Movies and Munchies, you're probably looking at this background and going, hey, wait a minute, I know that. So I'm in the States at the moment, hence not putting out a lot of content. But I am still trying to do some of those that I want to talk about, and that is The Crown Season 5. I haven't watched the 10 episodes, I've literally just watched the first. I'm going to give my impressions. This is not a full season review, just an episode 1 review, because I wanted to kind of talk about those little bits that people probably were thinking, should I get invested for this season, because we have a changing of cast again. So let's jump in. So every 2 years we get a new cast, and Imelda Swinton obviously is the queen this time. We have Dominique West, Leslie Manville, Elizabeth Debicki as Princess Diana, Johnny Lee Miller. The cast over the years has been incredible, and everybody has their favorite picks and some that weren't quite right. I know that Olivia Colman as the Queen, a lot of people didn't really like. They were like this mixed, and I think for Imelda Staunton, this is probably going to be the thing as well. For the first episode, I think she encompasses everything that you need her to encompass as the Queen, but also has a nuance of showing her personal life or her personal emotions. It's something that we don't get to see a lot of, because as queen you have to be regal even in like those moments where you want her to have some emotion, because she doesn't really get to play that part, because she is the buck stops with her. Well, at least it used to. But now we're coming into a new age where things are changing, and really the question is, do we need the monarch? And that plays a huge part in just episode 1, and will be the thing that driving up towards where we have the change of, I guess, where people really look at the royals as being the thing that brings people into the country just for making money, whether they have any power or whether they did have any power. That question is the thing that's going to be driving the story forward. That's the thing that they play a lot in. And so in episode 1 we get to see Johnny Lee Miller as Prime Minister having to sit and fend off questions from the Queen and a number of the other royals, and he's looking at himself thinking, should I even be listening to these people? What are they meant to be bringing? They're meant to help bring stability at a time that is needed stability in the country when they're in a second global recession. And I thought looking at it that way was interesting. I do think those that are royal purists are going to struggle with how they shine a light on some of the things that I guess the general public have been saying for years. But for me, really, it comes down to, it's a drama story at a look that could be what's going on behind the curtain, not necessarily is. It is, at the end of the day, fictional. We have some information of what's going on, and then it's just the actors giving phenomenal performances. The thing that's probably going to surprise you, even though we have an incredible eclectic cast, is Johnny Lee Miller is the guy that stood out to me in episode 1. His performance was right, from news clippings you can compare to the mannerisms of, as him acting as the Prime Minister at the time. I thought he had great presence, especially when he's acting on screen against Imelda. Now, Imelda is fantastic, like, no doubt, when she's on screen, she's going to eat up the surroundings, especially with people that are on screen with her. But when Johnny Lee Miller is on screen with her, I was surprised at how much he was eating the scene with the Queen. And for me, I think it's going to be an interesting journey, because people have guests of this generation now, and a few generations really will start seeing moments of history played out on screen, especially as we get to the Diana crash. I know they're not going to show it, and I'll be interested to see how they cover it. I'll probably get to that later. Let me know, once you've seen the season, which has been your kind of favorite moment to watch, which do you think they handled well or did not handle well? The thing I found interesting in this episode is that I thought Debicki was going to be phenomenal as Princess Diana. I'm not saying the acting is bad, it's just the way that they've asked her to portray Princess Diana, I think is going to grind a lot of people's gears, because she comes off as a spoiled princess in this episode. And she is the people's princess. She is very well loved in the UK, at least from my personal surroundings, people I know, from the zeitgeist of the media. That is the perception. I remember standing in queue for 8 hours with my mother to sign a book that essentially no one would ever read, just to show the emotional impact of her death. And there were thousands and thousands of people lining up for hours and hours, pretty much like what happened when the Queen died. And so it does mean a lot to people. So this series, although it's just a drama, it's going to have some personal reactions, especially as we are now later and coming closer to the time of where we are now. So let me know, who's your like kind of favorite performance so far, and then for this season, who do you think is shining? I'm really surprised at Johnny Lee Miller's performance. I thought he was excellent. Imelda, fantastic, very entertaining to watch. You know, from costume design to score to the way it's filmed to the acting, everybody is on their A game. This is perfect for awards season for TV series. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching. More reviews to come this week, especially with Movies and Munchies. You might see a certain costume character movie review dropping today. Non spoilers. Thanks so much, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.